They are more vulnerable emotionally to what the hookup culture does to them. It causes loneliness, depression, anxiety, tons of regret, embarrassment, shame, self-esteem issues.
Guys are so lucky. You guys do not understand. So I'm 25, right? I'm sitting here and I'm having to build a fucking roster. I'm having to sit here and go out and do things I don't want to do. I don't want a roster. I don't want to go out and date. I don't like this hookup culture. I don't like any of it. But I feel like I don't have a choice. Men, you guys just get to sit there and you guys can go wait until you're in your 30s, you're almost 40, and you can just go get with a girl that's in her fucking 20s and live a normal life.
I don't mean to stop it so early, but it's like she talking straight facts. Like it's weird how other races of people seem to understand these things, but the BLK community or the BLK black woman is the only woman in the world that doesn't adhere to logic. Because the truth is, what she's saying is simple brass tacks, baby. Like men can flex in ways that women can't, and a lot of them women are angry.
Girls don't have that luxury. I'm now sitting here at 25 having to figure out how the fuck to get back in these fucking streets so I can figure out, so 10 years down the line, I'm not sitting there single still with my daughter being an only child. Like, I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to be happy.
This just is a great example because majority of women do want these things, though they try to act like that they don't. They do. And the sad thing about it is that if you have made a lot of poor choices in your 20s, then by the time you're in your 30s, these things become like basically impossible to accomplish. And she's feeling that pressure. It starts around 25 years old because you start looking around and it's like, something is missing. How did I arrive here?
Like, I want all of these things. But people don't want that nowadays, it feels. It feels like no matter, it's like, what is this dating stuff? What is Hinge? What is Tinder? What is all of this? Like, it's disgusting. Like, my friends helped me make a Hinge and a Tinder, and it's like, I hated it. I hate it. I ended up deleting my Hinge, and I'm getting ready to delete the Tinder because it's just I don't want to talk to anybody on there. Like, I don't want to do any of this. Like I'm just sitting there like a magazine going through like clothing. That's what it feels like. And it's like, I don't want that. And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that at all.
So it's crazy that she said that she don't want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And what is this and what is that? But I mean, at the end of the day, like she's a young woman. She's 25, 26, whatever age she is, and that's part and parcel of today's society. Like you have no choice, right? But to be a part of it. The only other way around it is to not take part in the square dance, right? And do things your own way, go off the grid, or take the less traveled route, right? And these are the ways really nowadays that you're going to actually heighten your chances of finding a husband and a man that you really want. You have to do what everyone's not doing. So if you're out there, and you're on Tinder, you know what I'm saying, you're on these dating apps and you're 25, 26, and you're feeling the exact same way, chances are you've taken the wrong route. You've traveled the wrong road because all of those roads seem to end up down at the same place, right? Mid 30s, freezing eggs, going through a midlife crisis, probably dying alone with a cat, right? It's crazy.
So a couple of days ago, I heard this guy mention in casual conversation that for every 10 first dates that he's had, he's sleeping with at least 8 of those women on the first date.
What she's saying is crazy, but it's easily to believe because there's this thing as the 80-20 rule, right? And I'm not saying that that thing is 100% true, right? But there is definitely some truth to it because majority of women, if you ask them what they want, what type of man they desire and stuff like that, they all pretty much say the same thing. They want a man who's tall. Maybe he don't have to be 6 feet, right? Because some women are trying to digress from that now. But he does have to be tall. Let's just be honest. Keep it funky, right? They want a tall man. They want a man that's in shape. They want a man whose finances are in shape. And status is like icing on the cake. So when you have men don't even have to have all of those things. Let's just keep it a buck. Men don't have to have all those things to get, attention from women like her and other women. You know what I'm saying? All you got to really do is be on a trajectory or carry yourself well, right? And you will be able to get buns. That let's just keep it 100. He's gonna be more attractive than 10 females, right? 1 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be an easier thing for him to get the buns. Whereas if you take one lady that comes across 10 men, then she's not gonna easily find that. She's not gonna easily just give her box to all 10 of those men because the truth is there are less men that fit that bracket. Every woman's got a box, but not every man has social standing, has what a woman or a female is looking and find attractive. The market has been saturated.
Now, besides the fact that that's just like jarring in itself for so many reasons, because these are all strangers that are literally like swapping bodily fluids and things like that, it just like made me really think about like how we as a generation, as a society, are viewing dating. Like, is this normal? Is this what we're really doing out here? Because if I were to think about my last 10 first dates, you're hard pressed for me to even want to see those men again, let alone like sleep with them. Like, I can't even think about how many men I truly wanted to see out of my last 10 first dates. So, clue me in. Tell me what's going on out here. Is that normal? Is that statistic normal? Like, guys, let me know like how you're viewing this because
This is the thing. Of course, it's completely normal. This is why I say this all the time. It's easier to replace a woman than it is to replace a man. And that's what she's experiencing is that she's having a tough time finding one man that she can even remember or feel some type of connection with, right? And that's the thing. There are more women in the world than men, first of all. And then you have to understand that women don't get with men because they have a phallus. that's that's pretty much the main difference. So men will get with a woman because she has a box. They will sleep with you. They will. And you will get a lot of attention from men just because of your box. But here's the kicker now. If because a man has a phallus, that's not what attracts you to him and is gonna free up the box, then what is? Right? And what it is the fact that he's the type of man that has ambition. He's gonna be a bit more physically attractive, right? That's the being in shape part, right? Because it's not necessarily his face. Let's just keep it a being, right? It's gonna be more of his mindset. The physical, obviously, they're not really attracted to sloppy men, right? Too per se, but if he's physically attractive, if he pursues something in life, he has a social standing, it doesn't even have to be like completely like in a public scene. He could just have a status within a group, right? Where other people validate him. Do you understand? Then he already becomes more valuable than 10 men that any female will come across. So this is where she's at. And then when you get older as a woman, you notice those things more because you don't attract that one man so easily.
it's just like that was a jarring statistic because it's just like, are we really viewing, I guess, dating as that transactional? Or are we viewing it as that like instant gratification? Like how are we viewing each other? Like gender wise. Are we just viewing like the opposite sex as just a body to conquer? Because that's what,
I mean, yeah, look, it's precisely that. It is for a lot of men just to conquer a woman sexually. That's just the truth, right? Because, like I said, women are easier to replace. So what that means is that you women don't bring much to the table these days. Your greatest asset is your ability to make a man want to commit to you. This is what modern women don't have anymore. This is what they're lacking. They only have box. Men are not intimidated about your career, your social standing or the money that you make, right? Men are intimidated. I'll tell you what men are intimidated about. They're intimidated about loss. No man likes loss. Okay, men do not like to lose, especially materials and resources. So when his resources or anything stands to be lost, then you're going to see men step back a bit and their behaviors begin to change. But that is not a problem for men, right? That's a problem for women because what you've ultimately done is you have devalued the things that you were valuable in. So now men just want to have sex with you. That's it. And when a man has, yeah, we have to understand when a man has sex with a woman, his social standing goes up. When a woman has sex with a man, it doesn't matter what type of man it is, her social standing begins to decline. That's truth. Unless she marries that man. And if that man, is subpar, then even in marriage, her value begins to decline. That's the truth.
That's what it's giving when you're with 8 out of 10 strangers immediately. And I know hookup culture is fun, things like that. But for me, I just can't believe realistically that you also have built a connection and chemistry with that many people immediately. I could be wrong, but assuming that he's telling the truth, let me know if that's normal and if it is normal, why it's going on.
Yeah, it is absolutely perfectly normal, and it's hard for her to conceptualize that and believe that this man could be running through so many buns and she's not even finding one man that she could settle down with, right? Or even give the buns to, right? And that's because, like I said, men carry more of value, right? And I'll tell you why. It's really simple, right? We are masculine and we are feminine as human beings. That's what we are. And it's never going to change, okay? So that means that the things that you bring to the table are never going to change. And if you change them, you're not doing it to your own benefit. Okay. So a man has masculinity. Never gets old, people. It never gets old. Just be masculine. And women have femininity. So, in a market where those two things are starting to be less frequent, right? Not so available, then you have to understand that it's like supply and demand. The demand for that supply gets higher. It gets higher and higher and higher. So when a man finds a feminine woman, right, like always, he'll more likely less marry her because the supply is low. And the supply is always going to be lower than the demand in general in any market, especially if the market's booming. Let's just keep it a buck. So that means that being a feminine woman is always going to be valuable to a man, right? And that's why you will see feminine women who are traditional will end up getting wifed. They don't typically just get ran through. They actually get wifed. Now, on the flip side, masculine men, women will always, okay, always be attracted to masculine men. Always. They'll always want masculine men. And men that don't believe this, you have been duped. Okay? You have been duped to believe that you should be anything other than that. Because we hear, toxic masculinity and men are so misogynists and all of this stuff and all this crap. But listen, notice that masculine men are always being talked about, always being chased. This is why. Because it is frustrating for a woman that can't control a man if that's what she's about. Doesn't mean she's not gonna lust for that man. It just means that she's frustrated. Whereas a feminine woman, she's not gonna be like that. So all of these women want the masculine man. That's what they want. But the problem is, these days, there's not so many masculine men. There's only a smaller portion of men that have remained in their masculinity, right? So that makes their demand for them a lot higher as the supply is getting lower. And that's why she is not coming across that man.
That's
They
not
shouldn't
what.
have
No,
to-
can I finish?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry. So you interrupted, so I didn't get to
I'm
finish.
so sorry.
Okay. Freedom has become a pressure. There's become a societal pressure to be free. Mostly the term hookup culture is used between 15 and 30. So you're correct in saying a 32-year-old woman should have the right to have sex with whoever the hell she wants to have sex with.
Yeah, that's facts. Like it's women. You see, those numbers are quite significant. Y'all pay attention because those years that she mentioned are the years that women, you know, women get sex the easiest, right? It's just common sense. Like, come on. So in those years is like her prime years are in those years, right? Now, I believe a woman's prime years is between 18 to like I'd say 28, 29, right? And a lot of people say different things, but 30 is when a woman's, you know, biology begins to kick in and it begins to take a different type of toll on the body, right? So between those ages that she mentioned, a woman's prime years are there. And then she's coming out of those prime years. And but by the time she hits 35, it's the beginning of geriatric pregnancy, right? So women, you have to understand, by the time a woman hits 30, her behavior starts to change. By the time a woman hits 30, she's in her healing era. By the time when a woman hits 30, she's trying to find a man. She's trying to find a husband now. She's freezing her eggs. So the behavior changes quite significantly. Facts.
And I'm right there with you. She should have choice, whatever. But young women, young men who are developing emotionally, mentally,
Should not have the right.
No, that's
They
not
shouldn't
what.
have the right.
Can I finish?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry. So you interrupted, so I didn't get to
I'm
finish.
so sorry.
Okay, so they're more vulnerable. They are more vulnerable emotionally to what the hookup culture does to them. There's a lot of research to say that it causes loneliness, depression, anxiety, tons of regret, embarrassment, shame, self-esteem issues. Freedom can become its own prison.
Hey, this doctor lady is cooking. That's literally that's what that last chick, that black chick, was saying. Like, it's like just conquer. That's the freedom, and that's what it has done to women these days, right? Because they really want to experience the world as a man. And it's the craziest thing. I don't understand this. I don't understand, like, why you would want to experience the world as the opposite sex. Like, that's crazy, right? But it is what it is, right? I will not understand everything in life, and I'm okay with that. Trust me. But the thing is, what you've done for yourself is you have sexed yourself out of the market. We have to understand, you want to be appealing to the opposite sex. That's the conundrum, people. You can't want something and somehow not be appealing to that something or the parameters that would allow you to attract that said thing. That's just the way things work. That's the logic of existence. So if you want a man, you're going to have to appeal to that man. It's as simple as that. Men understand this. We know this. We know. I mean, let's be honest. This is why a lot of men have reached the levels of success that they have today, because they understand that without those things that they have accumulated, accomplished in their life, they wouldn't even be looked at twice.
And have we created a society which pressures young women in its own way to be promiscuous, to have lots of experiences, and it's not all it's cracked up to be for them. It really isn't. In terms of their mental health, 9 to 25, really 27 in young men, is the second critical period of brain development, where they are very susceptible to their relational experiences and their environment. And so in that period of development, which is mostly what we use the term hookup culture for, that's a very vulnerable brain. And so we have created a culture that confuses that brain, that offers too many choices, that pressures them into having multiple partners and many experiences, and leaves them feeling empty and lonely.
Yeah, I think for men, there's some truth to what she said, right? Because men who can get boxed, right? Eventually, and this is why, like, if you ever listen to any of the content I've made, I say men are pretty much ready to get married around 30, right? And I think that that's what happens to men. Men go through this phase where women don't necessarily just value you, right? Because you exist, right? Unless there's something about you, right? You got some physical attraction, there's a way about you, you're charming, you know what I'm saying? Or your social standing, like you're popular in your space, right? Those things can afford you a lot of attention from women, right? But majority of men don't have that, right? And a good portion of men do learn how to gain appeal from women, right? Young women, right? And those men will get boxed, they will get the cheeks, right? And it's like eventually men grow past things. I think we all do, right? But for men it's different. I don't know what it's like for women per se, but for men, we tend to grow past certain things in life and put them away. And I think for men, sex is one of those things, right? With random women, right? With just different women, right? I think that for a lot of men, at some point it becomes, I can get boxed, right? But the women that I'm getting boxed from, I actually want a relationship with. But then when a man looks at relationship now, it becomes a bit more filtered, right? So yeah, you may sexually desire Lisa, but Lisa isn't really wife material, right? And I think that that's when a man starts to feel a bit lonely, because you can be in a room full of people and still be lonely. You could be in a marriage and be lonely. You could be in a lot of positions and still be lonely, right? But men go through a bit of loneliness because it's like, you having sex, but that's all it is, right? And then men want marriage, right? We want children. We want a few little, babies running around that we could connect with and raise and rub off on, right? And I think that that's what makes men now, by the time they're 30, after those 20s, notice after those 20s, yeah, men start to shape up into the man that they want to become, and searching for the woman that complements that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of truth in what that doctor said. I think she's quite dope for what she said. So yeah, let's keep it breezing.
This is a PSA for all women. All women, listen up. So I just saw this video of this girl named Julia on my feed talking about how hookup culture has left her feeling empty and has a low self-esteem and everything of that nature. And I'm going to just say this very, very widely. There's no judgment here at all. This is a safe space. I'm not judging anybody for anything that they've done. I don't participate in hookup culture. But one thing that I'll say is that when you enter this sphere, this lifestyle, because that's exactly what it is, you have to be able, as a woman, you have to be able to feel disposable, and you cannot be seeking love or intimacy in hookup culture. That is what I feel like was the first mistake that she made, was looking for someone to cling on to love her and to care for her in hookup culture. That is damn near impossible. And it's not.
No lies told. Hookup culture is definitely damaging. It's not something that's helping people. And sad thing about it is hookup culture is here to stay, man. Like, it ain't going nowhere. And a lot of these women, what I'm saying, learn this the hard way. And I think that to even get to a place where you're talking like this, I think it takes some type of experience. Unless, you've got men around you, your father in your life that will tell you these things, what I'm saying? And it's interesting because it's like hookup culture is like, to me, a modern thing, right? So you'll need a modern father to tell you about these things. I think all fathers are modern, right? With you got some traditional standards there, but we all live in this modern day, man, and we're gonna have to teach our daughters the right way, and that's the thing. There's no other way to negate this stuff, but either that or experience.
Not that like casual sex in general is inherently bad. That's not true, actually. It's not inherently bad.
And this is why I said what I said, right? Because we need to be real. And she's young. I could see that. She's young. She don't know, right? And maybe she don't have a man around her to tell her these things. But the truth, it is bad. It is very bad. Casual sex is the worst thing. Like, have you not heard? These are the things, because I'll tell you why casual sex is bad, right? Statistically, a woman that has 5 bodies or more, her chances of a successful, happy marriage is significantly decreased at 5 bodies. 5 bodies. So, what this means is that if she has 5 bodies or more, she's going to enter a space emotionally, psychologically, where she's not going to connect with her husband as well as someone with 3 bodies, right? Or 1 body, right? Or even 4, because in her mind is going to be this dialogue where she's going to be comparing these men with the man that she has married. And, how can you measure up in a woman's mind such as hers? This is what drives a wedge, because she's always going to be comparing, right? And there are other factors, but that's just one of them. So another thing also that plays a role in this is that a study found in Massachusetts, right? This college, they found that a woman, all of her previous sex partners or lovers, I should probably say, having unprotected sex meant that the DNA from all of those men, they go to her eggs and they stay there forever. And it can even go up to her brain and stay there forever, right? And we have to understand that means that when she's going to have children, she's going to have your children, she slept with previous people, those children are going to inherit DNA from all of her previous partners. Well, these are the type of things that drive wedges between man and woman, husband and wife, because the kids come out looking and behaving a certain type of way that doesn't make any sense. And that's what makes you dig into a person's past. But by then, it's surely too late, because the deeds have already been done. And now you're stuck in this relationship commitment with somebody that you didn't even know. So it is very bad to have casual sex, ladies and gentlemen. Don't listen to this young lady, because she has no idea what she's talking about.
But it's just that biologically, women have oxytocin that's released at a higher level, and that's a bonding hormone. While men are like, they're having dopamine. Like, this is like fun and transactional for them. We're not the same. We're not the same. And especially if you're going into it not mentally wired or prepared to fight that like oxytocin and like fight those feelings of attachment that are naturally higher in women, then you're gonna get stuck in this cycle and your self-esteem will plummet. And to top it all off, if you're looking for intimacy, for caring, for love from a man, especially that young, there's something else that's going on. And you need to figure that out for yourself. Like, there's an internal issue that you need to figure out for yourself, because you should always find satisfaction and safety and harmony within yourself. And then these men will just come. You're like a magnet. and they'll come to you once you have handled yours. I hope this girl sees this video and knows that, like, it's all love, and, like, I'm all for my women really rebuilding themselves up and taking care of their mental and physical and sexual health. Like, I'm here for that. So yeah, much love to my girlies.
You know, I think a lot of people just chat shit for the hell of it. People probably think about the same about me. But the things I say, you can test and research, and you'll find yourself, right? By credible sources. What she's saying is a lot of nothing. You know, at this point, I think she's just waffling. And the reason why I say that is because, like, look, the truth is, marriage rates are declining, okay? Everywhere. Marriage has not been the same over the last 50 years. Right now in the West, it's the lowest it has ever been, okay? And let's be real, black women, okay, have the lowest marriage rates in the West. In the States, in America, it's 33% black women married. In the UK, it's 20%. Imagine. Okay. So, men aren't going to we're in an age where things are really changing, right? And this is why I say what I say, because men are not going to chase you. That's the truth. Men are no longer going to chase you, women. Gone on those days where we would see men, we would literally walk down the street and see men approaching women. I mean, we've had so many laws that have changed things. Okay, in the UK, I don't know what it's like in America right now, but in the UK, yeah, they've made it to where if a man tries to, like, get a woman's attention now, it could be seen as catcalling, and he could be arrested, fined, and even serve time. So with feminism and all of this liberations and independent women and all this stuff, men are just like, I'm good. Like, they only give certain men attention anyway. So what am I doing just going over here trying to holler at so and so, because I actually want to get to know her and get the box, right? What's the point when you're gonna be seen as some misogynist now? You're gonna be seen as some dusty, right? What's the point when what I can do is actually focus on me, get my racks up, and they will literally all chase me anyway. With the advent of social media and the internet and all these things, the percentage of men doing cold approaches have considerably dropped. Men don't approach women too tough in the streets, on the road, or in public, right? Men do it online. They'll approach online. So we have to understand the way to a man's uh ring these days is a very different path now. And the funny thing about it is, you still got to have all the things of old, but you have to be able to bring that to the table in the new world that we live in. And feminism and all of these people have sold y'all lies that have basically taken women off track. They've engaged in hookup culture and thought that there was a W somewhere to have. But what happens is they get to where they're in their mid-30s and they're just crashing out. Like, go on TikTok and just type it in, dating at 30. Women in their 30s dating. It's crazy. Women in their 40s are reporting that they literally are invisible to men. So you have to understand, your best years, okay, are ahead of you. And that's speaking to women who are in their 20s. They're ahead of you. And if you make poor choices, what you're going to find is that by the time you reach 29, your best years are now behind you. Because being alone and living alone is not a flex. There's nothing in the universe that was built to be alone. Think about it. You heard these ladies complain about how, what I'm saying, hookup culture is bad for them, and being alone and not getting commitment out of men. That's what it has done for you. You're not able to win. And look, we all want y'all to win. We don't want y'all to lose, right? So anyway, hookup culture is definitely a bad thing for women. 100%. But anyway, that's the video. I appreciate y'all for watching. Do me a favor, man. Click that like. Go ahead, drop your boy a comment down there. Let me know what y'all thought about this one. And if you're new here, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe, because I've been looking in the analytics and I've noticed that about 95, 93% of y'all watch, but y'all are not hitting the subscribe, man. Do me an honest and hit the subscribe. I'm just trying to grow. I'm trying to help y'all understand some things that maybe y'all don't. We can help each other. So hit that subscribe, tune in, and enjoy the content. Until next time.